¡Ay, ay, ay, ay! Aquí estamos en Mexico, tierra del snow. We're actually not in Mexico. We're still on the United States border in San Isidro, right across the border from Tijuana. And when you visit the border areas, you will invariably come across the Casas de Cambio, the money exchange houses. And we're showing you this, why? Well, we discussed it in the presentation, because this is actually how stocks are bought and sold in the marketplace. You see one price when you look it up on the internet or your phone or whatever. But no, at any one time there are dozens of prices, and there are two. There is the retail price, the ask price, what you pay when you buy it, and then there's the wholesale price, the bid, what they will buy it back from you. And so these are called dealers in the on Wall Street, in the stock market, market makers. You are dealing with a broker. A broker charges a commission and uses their systems to go onto the markets and buy and sell stocks on your behalf. But the dealers make inventories. Do you remember the discussion about the specialists on the New York Stock Exchange, which are now obsolete because it's all electronic? But this is how they make money. They don't make money off a commission. Notice they're all saying here, no commission, no commission. We don't charge a commission. No, if you want to change your dollars into pesos, you're going to get the lower number. You see, it's buying pesos with dollars. In this case, this money exchange house will give you 17.085 pesos for every dollar. But what happens when you want to move your dollars back into, move your pesos back into dollars? They're going to only give you, they're going to expect 17.164 pesos to give you a dollar. And this is how they make their money. They make their money off the difference, which is called the spread. And you'll notice, if you go down to San Isidro, that there are several ABC money exchange centers, and there are several Baja Mex exchange centers, and they're actually competing with one another. So here we see three ABCs, and they all have different prices. This one will give you 17.085 pesos for every dollar. This one's only going to give you 17.079. And then this one will give you, these two will expect you to pay 17.164 pesos to get a dollar, but this one is charging a little bit more, 17.165. Now, their big competitor is Baja Mex, and I only took one photo of Baja Mex because they get really angry. They get very upset when I come by on my little motor scooter and start taking pictures. It's a couple of times they've come up to me and I say, no, yo enseño at Southwestern Community College. Este es para mi clase de inversiones. And they look at me like I'm from outer space, which, you know, to them, I guess I am. These guys are only going to give you 17.0079, a little bit less, isn't it? Yeah. And notice they want more. They want 17.209 pesos to give you a dollar. So you see, you only see one price when you go look it up, but there are dozens of prices everywhere. And of course, these are just a few of the many Casas de Cambio in San Isidro. And then, of course, over on Otay and then other places along the Mexican-United States border. Now, the next slide shows us a Casa de Cambio, which is right across the street. First of all, they want a lot of pesos to give you a dollar, so obviously they're not interested in your pesos. But they're going to give you 17.799 pesos for every dollar. That's significantly more than the other two Casas de Cambios were giving you. Why is that? I mean, what's going on here? Well, these people, you don't see no comisión. These people are acting as a dealer, making money off the spread and charging you a commission. And I didn't bother to ask. I'm assuming it's about 3 to 5%. So you're going to wind up getting a worse deal if it is indeed 5%. If it's 3%, probably works out about the same. I didn't do the arithmetic, but still, this is perfectly legal. A company can act as a dealer, a market maker, and make money off the spread, and they can also act as a broker and charge you a commission. Now, they have to disclose this relationship. Of course, you understand perfectly what's going on, right? Yeah, it's in the email confirmation that you receive. So you didn't really think that Robinhood was not charging you, did you? No, what's going on? Sure, Robinhood and others now won't charge you a commission. They're not acting as brokers. But what they do is they route your trades to a particular market maker dealer that may not have the best prices. They might have a bigger spread. And what do those dealers do? They kick back some of the money to Robinhood. It's called order flow. And of course, everybody understands what that is. It's also called payment for order flow. So that's a little, so at least they got the word payment in there. So when anybody tells you, oh, I have free trades, you just snicker and explain to them that no, you don't. You're paying for that commission. You're via the spread, via the kickback, the remuneration, as they say in the, if you go look at the, make sure you go through the presentation, you'll see that Scottrade, which is now part of TD Ameritrade, which is now part of Schwab, bigger and bigger and bigger, put that in the email that all in uppercase is all in upper capital letters, so that people wouldn't actually read it. Next slide. Now finally we're in Mexico. Now one of the strangest phenomenons, and I haven't yet to figure this out, although sometimes it hasn't been the case, but usually it is. As soon as you cross the border, you're going to get fewer pesos for your dollars. Notice the others were 17.085 or something like that. Here, 16.750, 16.600, 16.00600. So they're going to give you fewer pesos for your dollars. But if you'll notice, these, at least these two, not this guy, but these two, we're going to ask for fewer pesos to give you a dollar. So they're going to give you fewer pesos for your dollars, but they're also going to ask for fewer pesos to change it back into dollars. So if you want to change your dollars into pesos, you do it in San Isidro. If you want to change your pesos back into dollars, you do it inside Tijuana. I don't know. It doesn't amount to a whole lot of money, especially if it's only like $50 or $100 or whatever. But if it were tremendous sums of money, it would add up, certainly. But on these retail outlets, there's a limit that you can get without having to give your information. So obviously they want to make sure that people aren't laundering money. So if you ask I forget what the limit is, $500 or $1,000 or whatever, but they will ask for your identification and they will record the transaction. And I'm not sure exactly where it all goes, but obviously they're watching for laundering of money. Now, this is what you'll see in many of the stores, in the Oxxos and the 7-Elevens. This happens to be a Chevron station. They do all their business in pesos, of course. But if you have dollars, we will give you 17.25 pesos. Sometimes it's a better price, because notice these guys are only giving you 16.6 pesos, 16.75 pesos, whereas these guys are giving you 17.25 pesos. And why is that? Well, because they want your business, right? They want your dollar. They want you. If you don't have any pesos, you're just going to drive to the next Chevron station or go to the next store. But if you have dollars, they'll say, okay, yeah, we'll give you a pretty good rate of return. Sometimes it's less. But usually it's a little sweetheart deal. Especially, I noticed the Pemexes, which are the Mexican gas stations. They usually have a pretty darn good rate of exchange. So if you're down there and you got dollars, you can get some gas. And by the way, I'm not sure now, I have to do the conversion, but as of the beginning of this year and last year certainly, the gas in Tijuana was a whole lot cheaper than it was here. But I think because the dollar has fallen versus the peso, and also it's gone up a little bit, not a whole lot, not a whole lot. I don't think that difference is that great. Now, our last slide. You're going to see where the game is rigged. Notice the difference in these two here. This is at the airport in Tijuana. In fact, this one was the better one. There was another one that was going to give you only 15. Notice that they are only going to give you 16.010, whereas in San Isidro you get a little over 17. In Tijuana you get 16.7. At the airport they're going to only give you 16. And there was another shop. I didn't take a picture of it because the guy gave me a really dirty look when I came up with my camera, my phone. So I just walked away. But they're only going to give you 16. Now this is very typical of airports and tourist destinations. They are not going to give you a very good exchange rate. They're going to make a whole lot more money off of the spread. Why? Because they can. Because exactly, there's not as much competition and they know that they've got you and there's not a whole lot you can do. Now here's another Casa de Cambio in Tijuana. Notice that they want 16.97 pesos to give you $1, but they're only going to give you 15.099. And some people say they do that because people think it's 15.99. I don't think anybody's fueled by that. Maybe somebody is. But notice these spreads. Yeah, and this company right here has been in business for decades, but they don't know how they stay in business because they used to be right on the route that all the sea of gringos would take to walk down from the border to Avenida Revolucion, but that just doesn't happen anymore. But not only are they buying and selling pesos, they will also buy and sell euros. Look at that spread. They'll give you 16 pesos for a euro, which is about $1.20. But they want 23 pesos to give you back your euros. And this is exactly what the actor in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. You know, it's a pretty salacious movie, but it's got some really good scenes that I like to pick and choose and show certain individuals when I can. And the bad guy, he's the hero, but he's an anti-hero. He gets in a lot of trouble. When he first starts working for this company that's selling these penny stocks, he says, and I'm pretty sure it's lost on the most of the moviegoers, look at these spreads. What does that mean? That means, sure, we will sell you this stuff at 7 cents, but when we go to buy it back from you, we're only going to give you 5 cents. And that might not sound like a lot, but it's 20%. You lost 20% as soon as you bought that penny stock because of the spread. There's an old saying, if you don't know who the fool or the patsy is at the poker table, you are the fool. You are the patsy. So when certain students will say, well, I think I can play this penny stock game and beat them at their own game. And I say, no, you can't. You just don't understand. You've lost at the very beginning. You've already lost. Yeah. So remember, folks, they're making money off the spreads. The spreads sometimes are very tiny, especially with large companies and plenty of stocks, plenty of competition, or huge when there's not a whole lot of competition, or you're dealing with these penny stocks where people are just getting ripped off. Notice, at least I don't know if most people understand this in English, but cobramos comisión, we charge a commission. So similar to the slide number 2 in San Isidro, these people are acting as a dealer. They're making money off the spread, and they are also charging a commission as a broker. And that is perfectly legitimate, and it happens all the time. So now do you understand that you are not getting free trades from Robinhood or from any other free to trade or the commission-free brokerage firm? Right, you are paying from larger spreads. You're not getting the best price when you buy, and you're not getting the best price when you sell. Oh well, that's how the game is played. But at least now you are forewarned and forearmed. And it again emphasizes the need to think long term and to buy your stocks with the idea of holding them for the long term, because trading is just, you're just getting hit another way when you trade. You're just getting hit with that spread, the unfavorable spread from some broker dealers and from some dealers, market makers, and from the brokerage firms. Thank you so much for being in our class, folks. We hope you're getting an education. You are now privy to some things that most people, especially those playing video games on Robinhood, have no idea. And you're going to be the official investment guru coming up soon, folks. Stick with us just a few more weeks. You're going to be a graduate of the Temple of Investment Gurus. I promise you.